don't have it.
I'm going to go ahead and start
please.
anyway. In the United States, we're definitely at a crossroads. There's been a lot politically going on and a lot in the healthcare system in terms of pushing healthcare out and making it available to everybody in the United States. So we're at a crossroads. If we go down one route, then we're going to continue with escalating costs, which in some cases are 50% higher than anywhere else in the world, and we still have low patient satisfaction. Or we can change the way the industry thinks about running healthcare by adopting creative business models and using innovative technologies. The vision for healthcare is healthcare by design. We still don't have it? Oh well, so much for sending it in ahead of time. The vision for healthcare is healthcare by design, and the key to transformation is to turn the prism a little bit and not look at it through a healthcare perspective, but to look at it through an organizational perspective. We don't have much time, but I have 3 things that I would like to touch on today. I want to lay out a brief snapshot of the state of healthcare in the U.S. I want to identify a vision and a strategy for going forward. And I want to introduce a model for healthcare reform, one that's driven by organizational competencies and facilitated by a focus on technology. So in the U.S., healthcare is in a state of disarray. We have no common mission across the healthcare industry. In a perfect world, we'd have a collaborative healthcare system that would provide a strategic enterprise approach to producing cost-effective, patient-centric medical services. But we don't have that. Healthcare is very disjointed across all the disparate healthcare practitioners and organizations. They have conflicting missions, and they're operating under a very antiquated cottage industry model of piecework. So the business model for many of the healthcare organizations in the United States right now is the piecework model, where you come in, you see one doctor, the doctor runs a certain number of tests, then you're sent to a second doctor for a second opinion. Some of those tests may be repeated, or you might have new tests. The healthcare industry, it's an additional cost, and so it's an industry focused on the bottom line, and the winners in this are the providers and actually the folks who run the healthcare insurance. The patient experience is actually a byproduct of inefficiency and inattention. So, no slides, I'll just continue. I'm only going to talk very briefly about a couple of the key issues that we see in the healthcare in the United States. I won't spend much time because I want to spend a little more time on the solutions. Number one, we have escalating costs. The national healthcare expenditures exceeded the economic development growth, gross domestic product, excuse me, in every decade since the 1970s. It's growing 2.4% faster than the gross domestic product. From the 60s, it was healthcare costs, by the time we're reaching 2007, 2008, are pushing 20%. So healthcare costs are growing more rapidly than costs for any other industry. So the key question that we need to ask if we're really truly thinking of transforming the healthcare industry is why? Why are costs for healthcare in the United States going up so quickly, and what could possibly be the justification for this? So what we do know is the current healthcare delivery model has outlived its ability to perform, and we are demanding a more rational model. So the more we know about what's wrong with the system the more we can focus on envisioning a future system that's more streamlined and more patient-focused. The second key issue that I'm going to talk briefly about is inadequate technical systems. This is a huge topic. We could go to many healthcare conferences and there would be entire tracks on process integration and workflow discussions. But right now we're going to just touch on a couple things. Healthcare is very siloed in the United States. It's operated along more functional lines with no regard for the enterprise approach or the big picture of healthcare and the technology that drives healthcare. So many of the healthcare decisions are driven by silo needs, individual application with the tech enterprise, and how the technology folks are going to maintain the system once it's up. Decisions are often made on a new healthcare application. It sounds great, it meets the need. Decision is made to purchase it, but many times these out of the box because they don't consider the culture of the organization and the ability of the healthcare organization to actually integrate this technology into everything else that's going on. So the result is the culture and the organization often is disrupted rather than helped by new healthcare applications. So the key is that we need to create an enterprise framework for driving mission outcomes while streamlining and automating processes. So in other words, we're going to change the tires on the car while the car is moving down the road. Now, in terms of a vision, in the late 1990s in the United States, business and government transformed their operating models using IT to actually align business and technology to drive the outcomes required of organizations. They moved to more net-centric models. The new approach to crafting organizations really was based on the intersection of business and technology, not on technology alone, not on the business alone. So the paradigm shift was dramatic. It drove incredible cost savings, and it changed the focus from tactical backroom thinking to using IT to craft fully integrated business models, and it laid open the opportunity to develop entirely new service delivery models. But healthcare has not embraced this new IT paradigm. There are pockets of innovation within technology, within healthcare, and the gentleman before me gave a beautiful example of telehealth, but they've actually failed in the United States to do some simple things like develop electronic medical records, e-prescribing, or computerized physician order entry systems. So it's not coordinated, and what's happening is it's keeping us from developing some of the most simple applications that could really move the healthcare system. I would be showing you a slide that talked about the principles on creating healthcare in the future. And what this means is by defining the principles for defining the future, every decision that is made will be a focused decision aimed at driving the prescribed outcomes. So hopefully it will take us away from the random decisions that are